want to talk about the opening a little bit.
Okay.
There's a couple of considerations. As an installer, you want to visit your contractor, come and have a look at the rough opening, make sure you understand how square, level, plumb it is, adequate headers, what kind of sill condition you're going to be dealing with. The sill's a critical component. You're either going to have wood framing, or you're going to have a concrete slab. If you're ahead of the game, you can actually talk to your contractor and have the notch in the slab formed in there. Otherwise, you're cutting the concrete if you want that flush, minimal transition.
Right.
Okay, so the ideal transition you want is for your interior floor to come flush with the stop of your sill.
Okay.
Otherwise, it sits on top of the slab and it creates a step.
Sure.
Okay, so in a slab scenario, that's your ideal install.
Sure.
We do require sill pans. This particular installation we're doing today is in a wood frame with a wood sill.
Yeah.
With the OSB
sheathing
already on the structure.
Right.
We distribute all around the US. There's a lot of different conditions out there, from wood framing, steel framing, block frame, concrete. So you're really going to have to speak to your contractor and your weatherproof expert to understand how to properly flash your opening.
Sure.
And integrate our system. Today we're going to go over this wood frame flashing. The sheathing's already on there. A great guide actually is the Installation Masters Training Manual through Architectural Testing Lab.
Where's that been hiding, dude?
It's a great resource, and it goes over all the different conditions for all different windows and doors. So a great reference there. So this particular condition, we've fabricated a sill pan.
Yep.
You can get all the specs from your order form to fabricate this perfectly for the system you're putting in.
Right.
Okay.
Because if your rough opening, you literally have a chart that says, okay, if you've ordered this door, here is your rough opening. I've seen it.
Yes.
So we know as contractors, not even just as installers, but also as contractors, we know exactly what our rough has to be. It's got to be plumb and it's got to be level.
Exactly. So all the information's there. We also have all drawings online and accessible and available.
Yep.
Section views, plans, elevations, they're all there. You can really dial in your sill pan fabrication and your rough opening. First of all, we've flashed underneath the sill pan with the self-adhesive flashing.
Right.
Okay. We've had this sill pan fabricated. It's got a downturn leg and an upturn leg on the interior.
Standard.
Yep. Very standard. And it's dammed on either side. Okay. So your sill goes in here, and even if water was to penetrate your sill, it's caught by this sill pan and it'll never go to the interior home. Okay. Very important. What we've done is put a bead of sealant on the inside of the downturn leg and sealant underneath the sill pan. So we've actually sealed this sill pan in.
Right.
Okay. We've ran beads the full length and 6 inches up.
Right.
So this sill pan's fully sealed into this opening at this point.
You even got a little bow tie in the corner, so I'm going to give you props as a GC.
Okay.
The flashing here is top notch.
It means a lot. Thank you.
I mean, 6 up. You've got both returns down. Yeah, I mean that was the kicker, was the bow tie in the corner. So I can definitely verify that this is very well flashed.
Once your sill pan's in, because the sheathing's on, this is the method in which is recommended. You run your self-adhesive flashing up past the header and down over the sill pan.
Right.
Okay, and as you mentioned, with the bow tie.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, you'll notice it hasn't got the flashing at the head.
Right.
That goes on after we put our frame in, over the nail fin.
Yep.
Okay. What happens typically here is we'll put sealant on the back side of the nail fin. So we seal it in the opening. And then we'll pop a couple of screws in that nail fin at the end to make sure it doesn't bounce out. And then at the end, they'll bring more flashing in over the top of that. And we'll put that top flashing over the top of the nail fin. So it'll be really weather tight at that point.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say is that as a GC, what you've done with the nail fin, it just ties in perfectly with how you properly flash a door or window anyway.
Right.
So it is an extra step. It helps ensure certain things for your door, but it's almost overkill in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty rugged weather out there, and we ship all over the United States.
Right.
We ship to the Caribbean, Panama, all over. So we don't know where our systems are going to land. We want to make it suitable for all environments.
Right, and the other thing to remember is that nail fin also, even if it's not moisture, it is also going to stop any wind or air gaps as well.
That's right.
So it's double duty.
Yep. You'll notice that the nail fin is flexible. It's a non-integral nail fin.
Okay.
Because if this framing is out, one thing that's certain is that this frame needs to be perfect.
Right.
The nail fin has to bend and flex a little bit as we dial in this frame,
right.
Square, plumb, and level. If the sill is out of level, what's recommended is that the shim goes under the sill pan, okay? So it doesn't create any voids between this sill and the sill pan.
Right.
So it's preferable to put the shims under the sill pan, seal them in, put the sill pan in, nice and level.
So do your homework, obviously.
Yes.
As an installer, that pan should be in for you and it should be level.
Yes.
Otherwise, don't shim it above the sill pan.
As an installer, you're putting it in.
You're putting the pan in?
Yes.
You're also putting the pan in?
A lot of the times, yes.
Okay, so as an installer, make sure that you're level before you even put your pan down.
Yes. This particular system here has a screen on it, because we're going to be doing a screen installation as well.
Love that.
Of our non-pleated screen. So the screen connects to our frame, and it butts up nice and tight, so we recommend putting that within the sill pan depth as well.
So integrating that screen into the whole door system?
Yes.
Okay.
One other thing I did say that this is a 2x6.
Yeah.
It looks like a 2x4, right?
Yeah.
If you look here, it's actually a 2x6 wall framed out to the overall dimension of the screen, because the screen has a bigger overall dimension than the folding door.
Good to know.
So what we do is build out that void with more framing, and it creates this step. So the screen sits back and the folding door sits just in front of it.
So it's essentially you're adding another trimmer inside or jack stud inside for the door, and then keeping your 2x6 for the screen.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct.
What do you got that?
Right.
What's that pen for?
We're going to make some marks here. So the frame's ready to go in, right?
Yeah.
What we're going to do is cork the sill pan.
Yes.
So it seals beneath our sill
Yes.
into the sill pan. So with this nail fin, where the frame is situated in the depth of the frame, has it protruding about almost an inch out past the sheathing. So your nail fin's going to sit here, your frame's going to land about an inch out from the sheathing.
Okay.
Which is about your stucco thickness or your siding thickness.
That's right.
So that puts it about here, and it's about 4 9. So it's a 4 9/16 jam, right? So it's 5 5/8 overall. What we're going to do is mark some lines along here so we know where to apply our cork, and then we're going to put the sealant in.
Wow.
Yep.
Your lines for caulk.
Yes.
Because
We wanna
once you
make-
get in the middle of this big opening, you might go a little off.
You don't know where you are.
Got it.
We definitely want a nice 3/8 bead continuous to the inside, and then to the outside of the sill pan, you put a discontinuous bead.
So that the water might be able to travel in
That's
and out.
right. So any moisture that may be getting there can get out. So you leave a 2-inch gap in the sealant at the front.
Got it.
Every 4 feet.
All right.
Okay. So let's do that. We're going to measure back 4 9/16.
And we don't have to dry fit because we're in the lab, but everyone else should dry fit, right?
Yeah, and I checked it with a tape measure already, so I know it's going to fit.
So if you're not Lee, make sure you dry fit.
We'll put it this way. There's not much you can do about it at that point anyway.
That's a good point.
You may have to wipe up some sealant, but... Okay. I know my sill's level because I leveled it with shims underneath What we'll do, we'll just check it for level, just to make sure.
Okay.
Make sure there's no gaps and voids that we're gonna have to contend with. So as you can see, it's sitting nice and flush all the way. There's no dips. It's perfectly level. How are we looking?
We're in the bubble is exactly in the middle. Is that good?
All right, so that's great. This sill's ready to go. Okay, so we're gonna apply the sealant. As I said, a continuous bead all the way along the back edge of the sill, and then we'll do a discontinuous bead along the front.
Great. What you've always told me
Yes.
is make sure the corners are like crucial.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, good.
So it's just a fail-safe. If water does come through here, if you haven't quite sealed this properly, it's sitting in a bed of sealant, and whatever water does get through, it's not going anywhere.
Right.
Okay. We start 6 inches up the jam.
Yep.
And as I said, it's going to be a continuous nominal 3/8 inch bead of cork.
So you're not a zigzagger.
I try not to be.
Okay.
Go 6 inches up the jam. Perfect. So what this ensures, we're going to be screwing this sill down.
Yeah.
This cork line is behind that screw point, okay? So it protects from that. And when we drill the screw holes, you'll see in a moment, we fill those holes with cork and then put the screw in, okay? Some people glue the sill down. You can do it that way as well, if you can keep it nice and level. But if you're going to use a screw and penetrate the sill pan, you've got to fill the hole with cork first.
Right.
Okay. So every 4 feet, thereabouts, we're going to leave a gap here. Just in case any moisture builds up, it can come out the front. Going to continue this bead all the way over to the end. Go 6 inches up the jam, and then you're going to create a bed of silicone over here in the corner where that jam's going to sit. Anything at the bottom of an opening is vulnerable, and then corners are especially vulnerable. So we put a nice little bed there for the jams to sit in.
Believe me, this is the point I always remember. You're always like, might,
Yeah.
corner, might, corner.
Exactly.
I'm like, more?
So as you can see, put a nice healthy bed of sealant right in the corners, and we're ready to put the frame in.
Thank you, yes.
The next piece we have to do before we put the frame in is put the sealant wherever the nail fin is going to be touching.
Sure.
So you can put it on the nail fin, but it springs back and it's kind of hard. So it's much easier just to put it on the frame, both jams across the head all the way around, and
yeah, it's also way cleaner.
it's way cleaner.
I mean, as we know, I mean, if we're trying to wrestle a 12-foot door and then add caulking to the sides of it,
yeah, it's not happening.
not happening. And you're not going to do the whole thing, are you?
We're going to do the whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
crikey. That's right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.